Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Open Mic. I'm Mike Mooney, the marketing chair for NSA Carolinas chapter. And this series is dedicated to sharing business building chapter news and voices to help you do exactly that. Build your business as a professional speaker. And I am absolutely thrilled to have Amy Harrill with us this afternoon. She is going to be our speaker on September 19th. That's an upcoming event, September 19th. And she is the owner of Ascend Business Consulting. The name of her event that's coming up is titled, How to Scale Your Impact in Less Time Without Losing It All. And I got to tell you, Amy, I absolutely love the title of that program. I love that. Can you tell us a little bit about where that, and when to get into your career path and all, but I'd just love to hear, like, the key words in that jump out to me is scaling, less time, and not losing it all. Those all jumped out at me.
Yeah. Well, several years ago, I got a phone call from a gentleman, and he said, Amy, you've gone completely bankrupt. You've lost everything, your contacts, everything you've known about your business, it's all gone. So what now? What are you going to do? And literally, even repeating it back to you, my heart is pounding.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah.
Right? Because that's exactly was my first response. But now listen, this call had come from a mentor of mine, and he was preparing me because he said, at any point in business, you can lose everything. And it made me stop and live out the situation and experience it fully. And then he had me explain to him what I would do to build it back up. And without even thinking about it, I paused and said I would solve a very specific problem for a group of people in the world. I would use the skills that I have, and I would serve others. That's what I would do. And there is no other business I have found like a speaking and serving business that you can start with very little capital and have, a high paying client within a couple of weeks. And I'm going to tell you what, that confidence that I had on that phone to say, I know exactly what I would do, it would be okay, is exactly where that title came from. When I researched with the market, that's what they said. Look, my biggest fear is that I'm going to lose everything. Right. And I want to be able to get the results I want in less time. How do I do that? How do I get where I want to get to in 3 to 5 years or 18 months versus 10 years? And so that is exactly where that title came from, is the market told me. And I knew I could do it.
I'm telling you, just that hypothetical, but for many, it could be real, like the emotions that you just took me through, and I'm sure there's people watching. Those are the emotions that are the 3 a.m. waking up wondering, why is the room like 300 degrees in here? You're not taught when you come out to do something, especially in a speaking practice, where people are, let's be honest, people are drawn to this type of work because they love the idea of being able to help influence and empower and inspire people, to move them to a different, better place. And whether that's through the message, that's through the practice or the systems, it really is about helping and serving people. Oftentimes, though, it's not about the business building aspect of this.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So this isn't your first foray, though, into business building. I mean, you've had like a really cool career path. I mean, interestingly, starting in the community service area with the Boys and Girls Club, then working your way into fashion. You had a personal experience, Amy, that, and just for those who are watching, Amy and I did talk about this before. I'm not ambushing her with anything, but she had a personal experience that give her pause to really focus on home, but then also, from what I understand, reinforced the systems that you had in play, which then gave you the confidence to say, I can take care of my family and what's important, knowing that I can get right back into my business and scale it up.
Yeah. And that confidence, and I'll talk about that situation that really launched the business I have right now is what that situation launched. But if I go all the way back to the United Way, I mean, I was one of their youngest CEOs. I have no idea why they hired me at 23 to do that job. And I have no idea where I thought I got the confidence to go and apply for that job. But I learned a lot of what not to do because I didn't know what I was doing, you know, and from there I learned, okay, people's livelihood depends upon my decisions as a leader, right? And so I said, I've got to systemize the outcomes quickly, not for myself, but for the benefit of those that I'm serving in the community. So I quickly, you know, implemented the system I use today. I implemented there, and I just evolved it with each new opportunity. This is actually my third business, and I've been able to drop this system down in 3 businesses plus, you know, corporations as a director and a CEO. And I just had the privilege of learning a lot of what not to do. I went through a lot of failures and continue to fail. But I'll tell you that in 2017, I learned that the child I was carrying at the time had a 99.9% chance of living with Down syndrome. And she also had what the doctors were calling an archaic heart. So her life was unknown. You know, they said, you will probably carry her all the way to 37 weeks and then we'll see what happens, right? Wow. So we get to 37 weeks and she lives and we have a really great, you know, birth. But her heart she immediately comes out of the womb and 4 weeks later is in heart failure and lives there for 3 months. We had to live in that place for 3 months. And so the surgeon said to me, if you're willing to put up a little ICU in your house, then you will get her chances of surviving this surgery much higher. Well, I was running a business that relied primarily on automation. I had a toddler at home, and I knew that if I was going to give my children the best of me, something had to go. And without even a thought, I shut down this successful business because I knew this system has not failed me for, you know, at that point, 15 years. It's not going to fail me now. So when I'm ready and the need is there and my family is settled, I can always go back to serving people outside of my home. And that opportunity came. You know, Abigail survived not 1, but 2 heart surgeries. And right. And the consulting came to me, and I was able to use the skill of the automation to still be with my children and still be fully present. And right now I have over 100 clients in my consultancy that I'm able to give my highest and best to. And it really is a gift. It really, really is a gift.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Amy, that is both an inspiring story clearly of love and motivation and having your values in the right place. But I think also the other word that comes to mind is aspirational, right? That we could all aspire to grow and build our own practice to a place where we can scale it, where we aren't sitting here constantly trading time for money and more time for sometimes less money, which is one of the biggest drags when it comes to either a consulting practice or a speaking practice as well.
Well, and the reality is as speakers or as successful owners using speaking as a way to expand the impact, you have two pieces of inventory: your cash flow and your time. And the problem with the market today, the messages we're getting from digital marketers, which I am not, you know, how I stumbled across this, I'm going to go off on a rabbit trail for a second here. Go. But you know what I learned? My first business, I lost it. And I tell people that on purpose because 2 things were missing. I wanted to get rid of the stuff I didn't want to do, which for most people, that's marketing and sales, right? We want to get rid of that stuff first. We want to outsource it. And I outsourced before I knew why people were hiring me, before I knew why people wanted me. So then I put the power of a blank check, because the people that control your marketing and your sales control your cash flow.
Right.
And not only did I learn that in my own business, but I also learned that in corporate America. Every business I walked into, I had to resurrect, because at some point they took their eyes off of what the client wanted, the problem they were solving, and the metrics to measure the time efficiency and cash flow.
Yeah.
And in your profession, in the service industry, all we have is time and cash flow. And digital marketers have great ideas, but they're telling us to do a lot of activity that is eating away at our time and actually does not return on its investment. And that is part of the passion of this conversation we're going to have on the 19th. Is this is everything to stop doing, and here is the reason why, and so I'm that's one of the things I'm most excited about, is just to tell people, guess what, I'm not going to come and tell you to do more. I'm actually going to tell you to do less.
And then make more as a result.
Exactly. That's right. That's exactly right.
Why is this message relevant today? I'm just curious.
Yeah, well, the reason why I said yes is because I know that I can help more and more people. I know it. I've got clients that are in the same exact situations. And through COVID, all of us that followed these metrics and this 6-phase system that I've been, making better and better, actually have had our best months ever. We have not seen a decrease in business. We've actually seen our businesses scale. Not everyone followed that advice. I said,
not everybody did what was told. I can't believe this. I thought I only had that conversation with my children.
Right, I know, same. But I get it. When fear is present, we tend to panic, right? So the fear is, and the natural reaction is, I need to do something new and I need to do it now. When actually the exact opposite is true. Stick to what is working and defend it with everything you've got. Do not let it go. And so that's why this is so important now, is because those members that are going to be there, those of you that are going to be with me on the 19th, already have proof of impact. And I want to help you take what is proven and get it into more hands right now, because this is when people need the impact that this membership base brings to the world, really.
I couldn't agree more. This is going to be a huge value to a lot of people. So let me ask you this two-part question. First is, what can our members expect to experience when they go and spend time with you on the 19th? And then the sort of like the flip to it in advance is, what can they do to best prepare to get all the goodness they can out of you and the time that they get to have with you?
Well, I'm going to sum up. So my goal is to give them 6 real steps to implement right away in the business and how to do it. And what those 6 steps are going to do is, number 1, it's going to tell them what actions, by taking these actions, you will deliver your highest value. And when you do that, these actions have the highest return on their investment of your time and also your resources, right?
Great.
Because for this particular, time and space that we live in, not all activity is proactive. It's just not, it's all good, but we need activity that returns on the investment, that gets people what they want and has value exchanged for value, right? That's very, very important here.
Absolutely.
The second thing that these 6 steps are going to deliver is they're going to tell you very clearly what to stop doing and why.
Even better.
Right? Yes, right. And by stopping these things, you will increase cash flow, but what you will also create is more time to focus on the impact and your life. I want to pause here for a second, because scale is a buzzword in the marketplace. And most people, that are talking about scale have pictures of them in a jet, or pictures of them and 10,000 people in the audience. And those are good things. I'm not saying those are bad. But oftentimes in business, we see those images and we think, man, if I just hustle and grind, it'll all come together. Yeah. And what I have found is it doesn't. you will wear yourself out and you will overextend your resources. So when we talk about scale on the 19th, I'm talking about these 6 steps are going to guide you to the end result of scaling the highest value you deliver to the broadest group of people and not compromising your quality of life. That is very, very important.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and that is what those 6 steps are going to deliver for us.
All the time, but there's a different level of pressure today than there was pre-COVID, in my opinion. And I think this is going to be a great resource for the people. So in terms of preparation then, Amy, what can they do to kind of get in the right headspace, or maybe think about their business, or just bring to this party?
Well, I would really encourage people to just literally brain dump everything you're doing first to build the business, right? What activities are you actually doing? The second thing is how much money have you put out over the last 90 days, and what percentage of that investment has been returned to you, right? And then the third thing is just come prepared to have your calendar ready, because I'm going to give you these 6 steps, but it's going to be, it's a lot in a short period of time. And I've designed it that way on purpose because I want to give people the opportunity. And I really love a one-to-one. I'm very kind of a high touch consultant. I'll get in there I'll get as dirty as you want me to get, I love that part of the work. So I want to give people an hour, and every person that wants it, 1 free hour of my time. And I want to help them take those 6 steps, the things that, as they evaluate those 6 steps, where they see they need some course correction and where they see they need some help implementing. And we're going to do that in that hour. So they'll walk away from the 19th with a plan, but then help to implement the plan, all for free. I just want to give that as a gift, just for their time that they're going to sit and listen to me. I consider that a great gift.
Well, that's an absolute gift you're giving back right there, because it reminds me of my wife and our 2 kids, are back up in college. They both go to App State, and it reminds me of the IKEA kits that I put together the last couple of weeks, which is all, some, if not all, assembly required. And it's not enough to just sort of here it is. Now you got to go figure out how to put it together. So the fact that you're going to show the 6-step process and then spend the time and invest the time into people, an hour each, to help them figure out the assembly of it is absolutely fantastic. And we can't thank you enough. I mean, it's a sincere amount of gratitude for that, Amy, for sure. So.
Yeah, I want them to be hopeful that there is still, and I tell my clients this, within your target market, there is 3% of that target market always ready to hire you. It does not matter what the downturn is. It does not matter what is happening in the world. I have owned a business through, September 11th, 2008. I have done this work in some of the hardest economies. And I'm telling you, I'm still here. I'm still standing, and you can do this work. You can do it. It just requires we've got to simplify. That's all we need to do, is simplify and serve people and have a little fun, really enjoy what we're doing.
Yes. Yeah. You have to have fun in this. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But ultimately, I believe it comes down to being intentional and proactive in the way that we want to, build the practice that we all have in our minds, and more importantly, our hearts too. So I want to thank you for the time today. And thank you for the time that we're going to have with you on September 19th. So again, Amy Harrill, owner of Ascend Business Consulting, thank you so much. We'll be promoting this on our Facebook and LinkedIn pages. I hope you'll be able to push it out as well into your network. We can get people to check it out. But again, thank you for your time. We're excited about this. And for those of you who stopped in, that's a wrap. Open mic. Tune in for the next session soon. Thanks so much.
Bye.